it's Bella, and today I'd like to talk to you about the new moon in Capricorn on the 2nd of January 2022 at 12 degrees of Capricorn. Now, this dark moon is in detriment and brings a renewal and preparation period in the area of Capricorn of your chart, a seed of new intention and new innovative way. Now, when the sun and moon is in Capricorn, our attention is pulled toward examining our more outer expression into the world, our reputation, status, role in the community or careers, and ultimately the direction and purpose of our lives. Where do you find yourself? Where do you need to make some corrections or adjustments in order to get back on track? Professional and business concerns can be more under the spotlight, and the moon here can bring our inner and more private lives also to the forefront for display. The sun and moon are in the Venus-ruled decan of Capricorn and adds the topics of security, money, values, and commitment to the table. And Venus in Capricorn is also retrograde and conjunct Pluto at this time. It would be important to restrain ourselves from making big and irreversible changes or commitments in regards to love, beauty procedures, investments, purchases, and business at this time, until Venus moves out of shadow in March, as we could have rose-colored glasses on at this time and have a what was I thinking moment later. Now, our emotional security can feel linked to status or material security. We are more inclined to desire validation from the outside world. We may have a stronger need for personal privacy, and our responses and emotional nature is usually more stable, controlled, and non-emotional, as the moon is also considered in detriment with this placement, which makes us a bit less emotional. Regardless, we are under a rather steady recharging of our energies, as our minds and feelings also seem to be more on the same page at the beginning of this new time or new calendar year time count. This is also a more favorable time to have group meetings or conferences where some decision has to be made. Mercury is also at a critical 0 degrees of Aquarius, and our minds are geared to innovative solutions not previously in our view. Interestingly enough, the ruler of this new moon is also at 12 degrees in Aquarius. The number 12 in numerology can indicate a similar energy to the Hanged Man in the Tarot, with an element of sacrifice and inner conflict. A reminder that heaven and earth must work together in sync in order to gain fulfillment in our consciousness journey. We are urged to go inward and transcend our inner conflicts to realize our true creative potential in order for us to be effective in the outside world. What are you willing or not to sacrifice in order to achieve balance and harmony? There is an extra sacrifice potency with these placements, with Jupiter also at a 0 degree of Pisces. Now, this new moon is also trying to Uranus retrograde, and we can possibly feel excited or unusually impulsive to try something new or do something in a different way. Others could feel a bit thrown off or startled at your sudden change of manner or moves, but this is a great energy to utilize to create necessary changes now and it will most likely be constructive ones. On the other hand, we could be startled by a surprise of some kind, having us needing to act maybe in a faster, more necessary way than originally thought. Therefore, remain flexible, as the plans of executing your plans could change by the end of January. But in general, you may experience yourself much more inclined to act like yourself around others at this time. You could be more open-minded and can greatly benefit your life experience by new encounters and unconventional paths. Now, Mercury is in conjunction with Pluto, out of sign, in shadow, and trining the North Node of Destiny, now at critical 29 degrees of Taurus. And we are making pivotal and transformative decisions and plans regarding our security, the structures, and connections of our future. The people we connect with now can have very important parts to play in our path forward. This energy is wonderful for deep research or investigative work involving solving problems or finding answers. It is important to be aware of other people's feelings during this time, or we could have to deal with opposition of some kind. Avoid gossiping or judging others, as this can get you into trouble or uncomfortable situations later on. For some, there can be a tendency to obsess about an idea or a thought where it almost steals your time in a way. Mentally, we are all dealing with much at this time. Staying kind and aware of this makes us part of the solutions and connects our humanity during these difficult world transitions. Stay in control of your present moment as much as you can. After all, that is all we truly hold, is the now. Maybe we should become more aware of making it count. And when we become aware that our moments with others are also their dear and significant moments of their lives, we can let the little things go more and accept each other more lovingly. Venus is also sextile Neptune, and with its conjunction to Pluto, we could have deep romantic desires at this time or feel the need to lose ourselves in some form of fantasy. This is great disciplined energy for art, music, poetry, ballet. Even just spending time in nature can be greatly needed to ground ourselves. We can lose ourselves a bit when needed, as long as we keep it in balance. In love, we can encounter jealousy or obsessive possessiveness in some cases, power struggles, obsession. New relationships can have a kind of power, too good to be true side, that for some can cause infatuation, and we are to be careful as to not get hurt or disappointed. Also refrain from manipulation in existing business or personal relationships by using guilt, jealousy, or other negative emotions to control others, and vice versa. But this is a time where we really are reevaluating our relationships with money, with our partners, with our careers, with our life direction, how things are moving forward for us. Is it realistic? Is it sustainable? What is it that we really want? And what are we willing to pay for it or not? What is there that we need to say no to? Where do we need to cut the excess and focus more on what is necessary? Mars in Sagittarius can have an over-identification with beliefs and a tendency to strongly defend it and push it onto others quite actively. Therefore, stay open and avoid accidents or dangerous situations while in foreign countries or traveling far from home. It may be a good time to go for an astrology reading to see if it is a good time to travel or not. Much attention can be given to higher learning institutions and creative intellectual work. Mars is currently sextile Saturn, and you can put in a lot of sustained effort at this time. Detailed or heavy physical work can benefit very greatly under this energy. You're working more for the future, and you're realizing that this is an investment with delayed fruits that will ripen in the coming. Stay practical and realistic. It will pay off in due time. You're willing to put up with what you have to now in order to get the necessary done. So there's a sense of urgency and seriousness at this time. We will all become more aware of avoiding the waste of valuable resources. Mars square Neptune can lower our energies and make us question ourselves and even our actions, whether we did the right thing or not, and our direction in life in some way. We can have a tendency to feel down and out, almost defeated in some way. Avoid demoralizing confrontations at this time or bad advice. It is important not to act in any underhanded way, but to rather face our fears and stay on low radar and conserve our energy. Thankfully, Jupiter is squaring the North Node and can bring a sense of hope and belief in our abilities to overcome, as long as we stay realistic about our goals without exaggerated expectations. Saturn is still square Uranus retrograde, and we are still dealing with the frustration of trying to free ourselves from some relationship, a dynamic in it, or a career, a situation, a belief, or something that has been holding us back and have been really hard to break through. The old versus the new, restriction versus freedom, left versus right, the past versus the future. Slowly, we are untangling this mess. Too slow for our liking, but little by little, we climb the mountain to the top. Preservation is key. Pluto is in a loose trine to the North Node, and we are pointed to the focal point of our purpose in some way by confronting our shadows, whilst possibly dealing with either a feeling of power or powerlessness in some way. Sensitive organs at this time are the knees, bones, joints, patella, the spine, skin, hair, nails, teeth, and spleen. No surgical operations are recommended during this time if possible to avoid. This is not medical advice, therefore please consult your physician. Collectively, we could see powerful and sudden public announcements that can be of a shocking nature, the beginnings of new legislation connected to business and interaction with the world, trade, government leaders in the news, new leaders or temporary ones, changes in government, possibilities of mercenary intentions, financial changes, new policies that provoke opposition or rebellion of some kind, and legalities connected to the control of the masses, separation, freedom, etc. This new moon is taking place in the nakshatra of Purva Ashada, the invincible star, and denotes an early victory, energizing toward empowerment. We keep climbing. I would like to read to you the inside degrees for 12 degrees of Capricorn. A beautiful, erotic, fat woman eating chocolates. Obsession with images of what is desirable and undesirable. Polarization of the inward awareness between plus and minus. The extreme reliance upon external proof, external props, and external projection. Everything blown up to be so dramatic, so total, and so pressurized that what comes forth is the inversion of what is sought, placing yourself in predicaments and dilemmas which are impossible and gross, yet being stalwartly resistant to getting the message that when you persist in polarizing your world between the absolute ideal and the abysmal norm, you tear apart your world and your being. Stay in gratitude, simplify, reduce the excess, get clear on where you're going, get clear on what you want, get up and keep going as we are getting a more realistic view of what the plan forward looks like. Thank you for listening. May the sun shine bright on you this day. May there be blessings coming your way. Until next time.